My name's Brian. I'm a full stack web developer, kind of making the journey from Ruby on Rails to Elixir and Phoenix, which I'm very excited about. My professional work broadly is in business or database web apps. Seems to be pretty common here. So in outline, we'll be talking about problem space. What is a domain language? Why am I interested in documenting it? And I have a tool which I'm going to propose for that, show a bit about how it's used, potential advantages and disadvantages. So domain language. Basically the language that describes the way your business or your client's business functions. And what are we doing when we document that thing? Or what kind of project is it? First of all, it's partly descriptive, right? Because the stakeholders will have their terms that they're using before the software, you came in and started building software for them. But it's also prescriptive because while you're working with them, you'll be adding new concepts and language. So why document it? So first of all, it's a reference for everybody involved. Ideally, everybody in the project is speaking the same language, so there's precision and communication. And having documentation can further that goal insofar as stakeholders are willing to refer to it, or even just to participate in the process of creating it so they internalize it a bit. And then of course, it could be useful for new people coming on. Secondly, by documenting is a chance to improve it. So if you make it explicit, you can see it more clearly, you can make it internally consistent, make it make sense in natural language, and as much as possible have one term meaning one thing. So why not just use your say model files if you're coming from Ruby on Rails, or schemas as your documentation. So non-programmers don't speak code, can lead to situations where what you're saying doesn't even make sense as natural language, and can lead to you speaking with the stakeholders, non-technical stakeholders, in terms that are more informed by what you think is easiest technically than what best describes their business. And the only reason I'm doing this and why I made the project is this is speaking from experience from a project I've worked on before. I don't know how many of you have had similar experiences. I'd be interested in talking about that after if you wish. So what I made was basically what I call a tool for creating a relational dictionary of domain terms. So dictionary is just a list of nouns, in this case, a list of terms, and it's relational because it shows the relationships between these things. So basically, it's an Elixir package. You write your raw plans written in YAML, and you generate a set of markdown documents, which can be easily viewed in GitHub or GitLab or something like that. And I guess I'll show you what it looks like. This is the project. These are the source files, but then you get something like this, which is kind of a dictionary that you can page through. And it tells you about the relationships between various entities in your domain. This is actually loosely based on a real project I worked on. It was kind of I actually made the tool after I left the project, and it's kind of an optimistic plan for what it could be. It's open source, so that's why I'm able to show you. Anyhow, that's what you get. So advantages of this format are it's pretty lightweight. It's just Elixir package and a couple of YAML files. It's version controllable. You're not locked into any SaaS or anything like that, where you have to worry about control of your data, logins, paying people, whatever. It's a alternative to large charts. Personally, I don't parse large flow diagrams very easily. I don't know if that's a common thing. I prefer to have this kind of format, but it's also pretty focused on cluttered interface for viewing. So I'm well aware it's not the best in some ways. It's not necessarily the best editing experience. Editing YAML files isn't the greatest. Get out of sync with the code is a danger. It's another thing to maintain. Just as I prefer this kind of textual display of information, other people prefer visual displays. So for them, something like a flowchart might be better. And there's, of course, complications where you have like more complex domains. They might have multiple subdomains in which the same term will mean the same thing in different subdomains. So finally, this is oriented around nouns at the moment, and it notably kind of leaves off the question of verbs mostly, except insofar as they're used in the relations between nouns. If you're interested in it, you can check it out at my GitLab. I'll put the link in the description of the meetup. But it's still under development, and I'm curious to see when I take on my next client project if it's actually useful or not. So we'll see. Thanks for listening. And does anybody have any questions or comments?